Well, head bitch. Call this meeting to order. There's your intro.
Can't just have it be you saying something funny every time.
Jason's like, why not?
Why not? Hello, talent.
Did he just call himself the talent? So, welcome everyone out there in podcast land. We hope you're out there listening, at least. We had some listeners for our first episode, so now we're on episode number 2. Hey, everybody. All right. Yeah. I am El Presidente, the Mayor Gov, the head guy, the man in charge of this little journey that we're about to take.
Sounds like he's his own press secretary at this point.
It works that way. So I would like to welcome you all to the second meeting of the Missing Movie Club. Just a group of friends that get together and always talked about how, there's certain movies that some of us have never seen. And we feel that's a shame. So we're all kind of taking turns picking movies and watching them. It's kind of like an autonomous collective, an anarcho-syndicalist commune. We all take it bi-weekly in turn.
I'm sorry.
Can I just grab my dictionary?
That was a $10 word.
Oh, come on.
I was picturing oh, it's the Borg.
So
I think, Borg. Like, say something we know.
Yeah. Okay, so then I guess everybody, we're going to have to watch Monty Python. The Holy Grail, where they're being oppressed.
But he says so much so fast I can never catch it all.
Because, he thinks they're an anarcho-syndicalist commune, and his, the other person says, I thought we were an autonomous collective. Anyway, so welcome again. So we're going to get this meeting started. I'm going to gavel it. The movie for this week for our discussion is Trolls, 2016 movie based on the troll dolls from the 70s. I really enjoy this movie. Esteemed club member that hadn't seen it was Jason.
Shocker.
Pamela and John have seen it as well. So that's where we're kind of starting today. Just the basics on the movie itself. It stars Anna Kendrick as Princess Poppy, Justin Timberlake as Branch, Zooey Deschanel as Bridget. You also have Christine Baranski, if I slaughter your name.
Lady Baranski. We never slaughter her name.
Yes,
she's a legend.
She is. She was one of the recent things she's done is Big Bang Theory. Mm-hmm. She was Leonard Hofstadter's mother in that.
She's also the star of the sequel to The Good Wife, The Good Fight, found on Paramount Plus.
All right. That's good to know. I also knew you also named
sponsor.
You also may know her. She was also in the Grinch That Stole Christmas, the one with Jim Carrey. She was the kind of love interest of the Grinch. Did a good job.
She was also in both Mamma Mia movies.
Oh.
Was she on Murphy Brown? She was the best friend in one of those shows.
She was on Sybil.
Sybil, okay.
I knew her.
Yes, with Sybil.
Yes. And an interesting fact is Gwen Stefani does a voice as well as DJ, but she doesn't say really anything. I think she has like 2 lines.
Does she though?
Yeah, she has like 2 lines, and I didn't even know she had 2 lines until we watched it with subtitles on. And it said DJ, so she does have some lines in that. The great John Cleese plays the King Gristle. Jeffrey Tambor plays King Poppy. You also have Jason's favorite actor, James Corden, plays a role, Biggie, in the movie. So yeah, we know Jason's feelings on that.
They will be well known in a few moments.
Also, Kunal Nayar, he was also in Big Bang Theory. He was Raj. He does Guy Diamond, the glitter troll.
Oh.
Yeah, he does the voice of Guy Diamond.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Nice.
And actually, one of the directors, Walt Dorn, does a few voices as well.
The pervy cloud?
Yes, actually, he did. He was the cloud guy.
It was a really well-rounded cast, I will say that, minus James.
I feel like Cloud Guy should have been Steve Buscemi, though. That would have been amazing.
I always
see that. Thought it was the guy from
Drop Dead Gorgeous.
No, Drop Dead Gorgeous.
I'm just pulled up the first random movie that showed up.
Wow.
That's a great
Such
movie.
an amazing movie.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
You got to take a long shot every once in a while.
You do. No, I think, it has to be somebody that can be very lecherous, because that Cloud was a pervert.
I thought it was like one of the Flight of the Conchord guys, or...
Oh, I could see that.
Yeah.
that is our movie Trolls. The premise of the movie is that there's a group of beings, I don't know what you wouldn't call them people, known as the Bergens, who find out in their history that eating a troll makes them happy. And in their life, they kind of aren't happy normally. So eating these trolls becomes a tradition, a holiday called Trollstice. And every Trollstice, they go out and eat trolls, which is a little dark, honestly. They just kind of eat them live. They don't really cook them or anything either. They just kind of pop them in their mouth. And then one day, King Poppy decides, he's done with that nonsense. So he plans their escape, find a little village away from the Bergens, unfortunately to be found again later on after Princess Poppy comes of age, and hilarity ensues from there. Comic misadventures of rescuing some of the trolls that have been captured, and Branch finds kind of his meaning of being a troll again, because the trolls are all just normally just very happy creatures. They don't really have sadness, even when they're getting eaten, surprisingly. They still just had something to sing about, even in their captivity, when they were captured by the Bergens. So with that, I think we give it over to our secretary, which this week it is John.
Yes. Roll call real quick. So Chris is president. Pamela is vice president this week. We have Jason in the high exalted position of treasurer.
Yet again.
And I'm the secretary. So we'll see how that goes. So after me is the treasurer with the treasurer's report.
We ain't got poop.
Or cupcakes.
Cupcakes.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. We don't have cupcakes to serve people. We don't got anything.
Okay.
No, I would love to hear from our listeners if we should start a Patreon for some special bonus content.
Because we've got good ideas for Patreon. We
Yeah.
just need you to pay us for them.
So, Patreon 101, we don't ever want to be like that. You just want to be more like, give me $1. It's just $1.
I've never been more attracted to my wife than I am now.
Pamela just was like,
Chills.
pay us.
Chills.
Anyway, so yeah, I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
need a wing dingle or whatever that was.
I want a wing dingle.
I think I had a sarcasm.
But yeah, if you think that we would be interested in doing a Patreon, let us know on all of our socials, and we'll take it in consideration. It's not something we have to do right away, but we always like to know.
All right.
That is your. I don't get a gavel, so there's
Oh,
your
yeah,
treasurer's
yeah.
report.
Anybody, look, I decree that anybody is available. If you want to gavel it. Be just.
As I look to right at John.
He looked John right in the eye and he hit that gavel.
I did.
The dictatorship will return in time.
All right, thank you, Treasurer Jason. For that.
Actually, can I throw one thing in
Sure,
real quick? So,
sure.
speaking of socials, just for everybody that's listening that may not have ever gone to our website, which you
Oh.
should, it's missingmovieclub.com. And then also we are on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, and the episode's on YouTube as well. So you can comment there if you want. We're a little bit of everywhere, and we'd love to hear from you, even if you want to tell us we suck.
Also, if you think there's a movie that the four of us may not have seen, throw some stuff out there. We love a good rando.
Yeah.
It's a good idea, yeah.
I don't know. That's just my personality, but I love a rando.
I love some of
Yeah, no, we're
As
always...
Pamela found out.
Yeah,
What
that's
happens when you scroll through my phone?
What's it scrolling?
that's actually in the frequently asked questions where it just says that people can submit one.
Oh, I thought you meant
It's-
that I liked randos.
That is going to be added.
That's going to be added. I will get that in there before the next episode goes up.
Jason loves randos.
Oh, God, I'm a whore.
As Pamela found out, scrolling through his phone.
Ooh. I just had another sarcasm.
All right. Thank you. All right, so we got that. Now we go to our vice president, Pamela.
I'm supposed to talk about new business. Do we have any new business?
I watched Trolls for the first time.
Woohoo! Yeah! Yeah.
Someday we'll have actual new business. So
Yeah.
if one of you comments or something, we would love to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sarah G. She did comment on our trailer and say that she loves practical magic too. So we're kind of besties now.
Yeah, I know I've seen it, but it did not leave an impact.
All right, with that, let's get to the movie at hand. We're going to go ahead with our Trolls discussion. Actually, kind of first off, with the person that hadn't seen it yet, just a brief, what were your thoughts? Because we know you had some big thoughts on The Crow. So kind of what just are your overall thoughts? How did you like
this? It is a movie that I would watch again.
Oh, right.
Woo! High praise!
I would watch it again. First off, I believe I said the word "God damn it" several times throughout the show. I questioned the rating multiple times. There was a lot of risque humor, which I appreciate because I don't have kids, but I don't know if people that do have kids appreciated it as much. But I liked it. There was some mild nudity, which was a surprise. My note does say violence and orange-ass nudity.
Yes.
And that was in the first 8 minutes of the
film.
film.
Yeah, it starts off, man. It hits the ground just running.
It does.
It doesn't give you any chance
there was something that they did that I think was brilliant and I really appreciated. I love that they sped storytelling up by doing the scrapbooking.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Yes.
later played into the movie. So at the beginning, when they do the backstory, I hate it when a movie takes too long to get to the backstory. Like, either build into the plot later on where we do a flashback or whatever, but doing it up front like that, first of all, it was super cute animation, so you've got the little kids involved, and then you've got the parents involved because they're going to have to explain something to the kid anyway.
No.
So. No, I think it's one of the gayest movies I've ever seen.
Oh, we're gonna get to that. I've got a few thoughts on some of the characters in there and get your take on it to see.
But no, I really, really enjoyed it. I was very surprised. I'm a little harsher on animated movies because of I like so many Christmas specials and I judge really, really high. And it takes a lot for me to buy an animated movie, but this one I could own.
Cool.
Yeah, I think I appreciate y'all giving me something that I did enjoy.
All right. You know what? I kind of agree that with when I heard about Trolls originally, it just was kind of like, there's rehashing that. You know, it didn't seem like too much, and then I just randomly watched it on HBO or something one night, and I loved it. It spoke to me, and I think that's kind of where the first discussion I'm gonna ask what you guys think, kind of give my theory on it. To me, I'm a kid of the 80s. I was born in 1975, so I'm literally a child of the 80s. You know, I grew up in the 80s. I kind of look at the Bergens as the kids of the 80s. You know, we had that, and the Trolls are that happiness that we had during the 80s. You know, the toys, the pop, everything that you kind of remember. And then it fades as you get old. And as the Bergens get old, and they lost that magic, they lost that feeling of happiness again. And it brings it around that we chase that going all the way, and then it comes back around that the Trolls come back into the Bergens' lives in a little different way. You know, they're not eating them to be happy any longer. They're not consuming the Trolls as a consumer. You know, we bought the toys, now they're older, and they kind of realize what made them happy about it was the feelings and not necessarily the item. And I think that's where, you know, Generation X now, we're buying all the toys we used to have. We're getting those feelings back. And that is an allegory, just for myself, that I bring into it, that it is that sense that the Bergens then realize, you know, as even the things from their childhood can make them happy again, but not in the same way.
I would say it could also be that it's the drugs they used to have back then that are coming back around, but you take them a different way. Because this movie is very...
Wow, way to make this real dark.
I know, that's kind of true. You know, I was speaking of children, you know.
Thanks a lot, Poppy.
Yeah. I mean, well, again, to your point, her name is Poppy. And
that is true.
Hello.
Opiates.
You know, opiates. So.
I mean, you can't tell me that people aren't watching this movie on drugs.
I would like to.
Exactly.
The Missy Movie Club does not support.
We do not endorse
drug addiction.
Endorse drug abuse.
Any illegal substances.
Just say no, kids. Remember,
unless it's legal.
Nancy Reagan.
No, I see your point too, but I have to go with Chris. I think. One, yes, you should probably watch it while you're on drugs because it would be interesting. But I think you're right. I think that's a really beautiful way to look at it because as I was born in 79, and
I'm the only one here actually made in the 80s.
Made in the 80s.
But I can see that symbolism there. That's a really interesting way to think about it.
That is a good take on it.
Yeah. Like I support that theory. I think
Hit me right here.
I never really played with troll dolls when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, I got my first one when I was like 11 or 12, and he had overalls on, and he had pink hair. And then they came out with the ones with the jewels in their tummies.
I remember those.
With the gym belly rub it?
Yep.
You had to rub the belly for luck.
Yep. So then we had to get some of those. But yeah, my first one had the little overalls.
Did you have a large troll collection?
I only had like 4 or 5. I was poor.
As we all laugh.
Yeah. Poor. No, I never had troll dolls like growing up.
I had one, I think, that my sister got me, and I don't remember the hair color, but it was a treasure troll, but had like a baseball jersey.
Oh yeah, they
Yeah,
did a
they
lot of
did
those with the
different
cross
outfits.
promotions.
That's-
Yeah.
Didn't they make troll action figures too?
Action
I feel like there was
figures?
like a troll action figure.
Well, the stone protectors, is that what they called
Yeah, it
them?
looks like they came out in the
Yeah.
90s. Good job,
I
Pam.
remember
Yeah.
I had one of
Thank you.
those.
Yeah,
Like,
they're very He-Man-esque looking.
They
like-
are He-Man-esque, and that's
Turn-
probably why I didn't own one, because I thought it was bullshit.
I think they were around the same time as like the there was the shark.
Yeah,
one,
Street
and-
Sharks.
Street Sharks,
Yeah.
and then there was Biker Mice from Mars.
Mars,
and
yeah,
it,
that
it was
could be,
like
yeah.
that.
It was just
period, I
weird.
think.
It was a lot of weirdness back then. The 80s,
Yeah.
I mean the 90s were a little out there.
Yeah.
I kind of
So
want
yeah,
one now.
so your memory serves you well.
If anybody wants to get me a stone protector,
Yeah, I had one, but I don't remember buying it. Like I don't know. If
not
some
that
kid
army
traded
looking
me
one.
for
It's
No,
ugly
it
as
was
shit.
probably one of those things
I
like an
want it-
aunt or somebody saw. Like, oh,
Yeah.
they'll love this.
I want the one on the rollerblades.
on the yeah, he's very like 80s,
Yeah,
90s.
I'm
like
down
that
for the
hybrid.
rollerblade guy. So
I
anybody
wonder
wants
if there was
to
a
get us a
I
present.
wonder if there was a cartoon of it too.
Oh, there might have been. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good
Oh.
question.
There probably was a Trolls cartoon.
Who knew that this entire episode was not going to be about the movie The Trolls?
Oh, I know.
but about the
Yeah, we kind of.
merchandising?
So, what is your take on the movie, Pamela?
It was fun.
At least
Well,
you
that
have
was a
strong
damn glowing
feelings about
review.
it.
No, it's a good movie. It's a happy movie. It's a feel good movie. Like I can't imagine being sad and watching that movie. It just
It's like the movie version of the song September.
yeah.
You can't be unhappy watching this movie.
I agree. I don't think there's something in it for everyone. Like there's a character that I think you can relate to, regardless of who you are in it.
And yeah, that actually kind of brings us around. I kind of look at it as it makes me feel better, like because dealing with clinical depression and things like that in my own personal life. That's a movie that I can watch no matter what I'm kind of feeling, and it kind of just makes me. And that does not going to always make me feel 100% better, but it always just kind of does push me up. But the one thing that I kind of question is I prescribe to the thing that there is toxic positivity.
Oh yeah.
There are people that, like Poppy in the movie, she's always just so positive, like, oh, just smile and you'll be happy. And that pisses me off. I know those people are well-intentioned, but they just don't understand because they've never been a sad day in their life because, they won't be sad.
You don't need medicine for your depression.
Yeah.
You just need sunshine
Yeah.
and a positive
Yeah,
outlook.
just don't be a grump. I understand. So in that, when you first think about that, you think of Poppy as that. She's just so positive that it's almost toxic. And Branch comes along and his obviously depression, and you watch the movie, his trauma, his, PSTD that he has what caused him to kind of be how he is. And I do like, though, that, she needles him, but it's never to the point of being completely annoying about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that then she kind of has that, oh, wait, he's kind of right. Life isn't always the best. You can't always control your feelings. In the scene where they're in the pot, she finally comes face to face, like, she can't even control her own feeling. That she's just, it's a horrible situation she's in and she's sad about it. And then he kind of comes back around and kind of helps her out of that because he knows what it's like. He watches her color leave. And so he understands it. And I see that scene as that. Like, he kind of helps her understand that, yeah, life sucks. But even from his point of view, he doesn't always feel sad. It's not always like he's depressed. It's just that's who he is. And if you kind of watch the animated series and the second movie and the holiday specials, they do build on that, which is I do advise anybody that's seen this and you like the movie, if you haven't seen all those, kind of watch them because they do actually build a little world around that. And it's not all just happy endings. And, they do still have conflicts and they still, Branch isn't just happy all of a sudden. He's still him. He's still himself, but he's learned how to function and, get past certain things. So I don't know. Your guys' take on that is just a mental illness role in a kid's movie. But, I do see it. I see it as many layers in that.
Yeah, they only work because they are opposite sides of the coin.
Yes.
Like, they're both toxic in their own ways.
Yes.
So when they see the flaws in each other, they see the flaws in themselves. So
Pamela, before I jump in.
I have nothing to add.
Did it get real deep for you?
It got real deep. I wasn't expecting it.
Me either, but
Sorry.
I
No,
will say-
it's great. It's great.
so I listen to a lot of different podcasts. There is an amazing podcast that honestly I have learned so much about toxic positivity, just a lot of these things. It's called Maintenance Phase, and it's about the first couple episodes were about how we talk to fat people, and that's the word that they use, and so I'm embracing that word too because I'm a little chubby. And how
Husky.
we just tell people, well, just go lose weight.
Yeah.
Don't be depressed. And there's this whole, they've talked a lot about this, all these self-help books that come out that say, oh, well, just, think about today being positive. Being positive isn't always the right choice. And I guess from my take from the movie, it was, we all go through things based on our past traumas. And so I'm going to defend Poppy for a second because I think Poppy her past trauma was them trying to escape at the beginning of the movie. She was just a baby, right? And they had, where's Princess Poppy? Where's she at? Where's she at? And she was scared and then she thought she lost her dad. And so maybe her past trauma is trying to never feel that scared again. And so maybe that's why she's super positive, because that's the only thing she can control. Maybe she was out of this, going off on a whole other tangent, but maybe that's where her mindset comes from is you all are really close friends with me, and you know that I like to have control. I don't feel comfortable when I don't. I get really freaked out. I get really nervous. I get really upset. And it's just become from past traumas where I didn't have control. And so I'm relating to her in that aspect of maybe that's where she's coming from. With Branch, I just think I get his past trauma, makes him a little more sarcastic, a little more emo. I think we referred to him as emo at some point. So I relate to his snarkiness, but I think I relate to Poppy's, like, there's bad things, but we got to think about the good stuff. How do we do that? And I think that can be, when I saw the color drain from her, I thought, wow, that's how I feel sometimes when you're trying to be upbeat all the time and trying to keep people happy and keep people motivated, whether it's your job or, whatever, you're literally draining yourself of energy. And so when I watched her color drain, I was like, girl, like, I get that. Like, you're just done.
Yeah, no.
And I imagine when Poppy's alone, even though we kind of saw her for a second doing her little scrapbooking, I think that scrapbook is also her way of control because she's the one narrating the story. She's the one in control of what's going to happen. Yeah. And so I wonder if that was her trauma, was not being in control when she was younger.
This is so freaking deep for a movie that has glitter farts. And I kind of love it, but I'm sitting here like, there are glitter farts to this movie.
There are.
Somebody poops cupcakes.
Cooper, yes. And for out there, actually, Cooper, if you don't know what Cooper is in the troll world, he's actually a troll giraffe, which they made them. You can look them up online. They're freaky looking. He's actually stylized as the trolls are, thank God. I'm so glad that they did not keep the original, because the troll dolls are fugly. They're just not cute, and yeah, we've got one here. I wish you guys could see it, but yeah. So I am glad they stylized. That's another thing, kind of leading way into kind of out of that mode, but into the actual.
as we try to bring it back around.
Yeah, bring it back around.
The darkness of the most rainbow-tastic movie.
Exactly.
Ever.
Actually, can I?
Yeah, sure. No, go ahead.
A couple of times you kind of talked about the 70s aesthetic
with
the Bergens, but one thing with this movie, watching it, just the way the world is built and stuff, like, if this had been 2D animation, I would think it was 80s 2D animation.
Yeah.
Like just the way that it's the world is built and
like very Secret of the Nim kind of vibes.
Yeah, I mean, even,
with the darkness
even
in the
what's
Bergens.
Wizards or something
Wizards,
like that.
yeah.
Wizards or
you haven't seen? Wizards is great. We're
going to add that to the list.
We're gonna
or like the old Lord of the Rings.
The Baskin, Rankin Baskin.
Oh yeah, I do
that
remember
kind
that.
of animation,
Yeah.
like that kind of rough.
I can.
That's still Secret of the Nim.
Even like Heavy Metal again.
Yeah,
like,
No, I can see that.
That kind of animation.
But yeah, kind of going into that with the animation and with the style choices, as you guys know, I love the Bergens. I love that 70s aesthetic. Even into my personal life, I would decorate that if I could. Unfortunately, I can't. But yeah, I love the shag carpets and the colors, the oranges and the deep woods and the browns. And even in the like throne room, they got like just the plants. It just reminds me of like old 80s Burger Kings. It just has that. And the Bergens themselves, just their style choices and the clothing and everything. And Captain Starfunkel's arcade and roller ring. And that's what draws me to the Bergens. And I do kind of like that they didn't make the Bergens in the end kind of the villains themselves, even though they did horrific things. They did kind of still bring it around like, hey, they were just a misunderstanding, and not, I don't know, it's kind of hard because they were eating trolls. But they still, embrace, being better. They're trying to better themselves and understand things more.
I think I just looked it up because I was really, with you were talking about the style of the animation and the colors and the choices in the 70s versus the 80s and all that. I just looked up the directors were both born in 1970.
So there you go.
I think there you go. I think that's where the influences came from. That's genius.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Going back to the previous deeper points. Let's get away from the glitter farts and the shag carpet.
You're the one that ruined the conversation, and now you want to bring it
for
back.
a second, though, because we talked about how Poppy and Branch kind of helped figure each other out, and we saw where they were coming from, and they couldn't just stop being who they were. But at the end of the movie, the Bergens kind of do. They're just like, oh, I can be happy, and so they be happy. Which I know it plays out further later, but if we're just going by this movie, that's kind of... I don't know that I like that, because they do just kind of decide, oh, I can be happy.
I don't know if they decide that they can be happy, but they decide that's an option for them. They didn't know that that was an option, not that, hey, I can be happy, so now I'm going to be happy. It's like, hey, I can be happy, so now I can go out and decide what makes me happy or something.
Yeah, I
That's
think
how I took it.
they were conditioned by their leadership to believe the only thing that would make you happy is to oppress and eat other people. So if that's all you're told, is the only thing that makes you happy is to hold somebody else down, or to look down upon somebody else. I'm going real deep right now. Or to say that we're better than them. We're bigger and we're better, and therefore what makes us happy is controlling them. Or I mean, you know, the movie first opens, they're trapped in a tree. Well, we think they're trapped in a tree, right? And we're like, the tree has got a cage around it, which, by the way, anything could escape from that cage. But
well, yeah, it was pretty wide.
I could have escaped from that cage, and I'm portly. So, but if you're constantly told this is what will make you happy, like, let's go even further. We're told in society that the things that make you happy is you got to have a lot of money. Money brings happiness. You know, money. You got to have the best car. You got to have the biggest house. You got to have the most friends. You got to have the biggest parties. You got to be an influencer on TikTok. Whatever you need. Those are those things that materialism makes you happy. And in this case, all of those Bergens were told the only thing that makes you happy, feel true happiness, is to eat a troll, which still makes no sense because you're eating a living being. But then I think, I like chicken. And eating chicken makes me happy.
Yeah, but then you're denied that thing.
Right.
And you're only offered that thing once a year, which I can say the Bergens are obviously not Americans, because we would just be in there like...
The trolls would have already been gone, and we would have figured out how to mass produce the taste.
Yeah.
There would have been troll paste.
Anyway, but then to be denied that thing...
Well, and I think that kind of, when you first meet the Bergens, like, full on, go with Jason's point, the king literally tells Gristle, nothing will make you happy. Gristle comes, he's like, how am I going to be happy now? And the king literally is like, nothing will make you happy ever again. This was your one shot, and it's gone. And I think when we see the Bergens, when Branch and Poppy get there, and you see them, you see that what Pamela was talking about. They've been denied happiness so long. They're just going through the motions of living. Everybody, even the one dude just burying himself. Like, he's still alive, and he's buried. So I think that plays on, like, with Jason saying, you know, the consumerism and things like that. Even the other things didn't, you know, because they had been conditioned to think that one thing. Everything else in their life, you know, doesn't make them happy. And so, yeah, I think that's a good...
But to your point, John, I now question, do they think this feeling of happiness has changed? I agree with you, Pamela. I think maybe they think it's an option now, but I think some of them may just be like, no, I get to be happy all the time, dancing and singing. But maybe they don't. I feel like there's going to be a crash and burn. When you hit that high finally of something you've not gotten in a long time, whatever it is, there is a crash. You're welcome. There's a crash and burn, because you've had, like, our emotions honestly are what draws our energies, right? So, like, if you are on a complete high, like, personally, I know when I have my amazing Christmas party every year, I am on a high for about 3 days, and then it is boom, and I am just have to be really careful, and I always make sure to watch my favorite Christmas movies afterwards to get my spirits back up. And I would be interested to see if there's a crash and burn afterwards. And I know, like, you said the second movie doesn't really follow Bergens.
That's where, if you watch the expanded universe, I think you'll get that, because the animated series, they kind of show that. Like, some Bergens do embrace the whole, you know, we can be happy, we can do it, but then some Bergens don't. They still just like being kind of grumpy, and they kind of allow them to do that. And it's interesting too, because they actually get some of the trolls start interacting with the Bergens, and some of the trolls start showing their own, like, they're not always just these happy-go-lucky little... There's one where it's some sort of competition, and the Bergens have always played it, and it's very kind of brutal and very just... And some of the trolls get into it, and they love it, because it is not the normal games that trolls play. You know, there is a loser. And a couple of and I think Smidge, the one that has the deep voice, oh my god, she becomes, like, very, like, this is amazing, and she starts just like decimating these bergens playing this game. And so yeah, I think what you're speaking of, yeah, if you just take it as the individual movie, it kind of plays out that way. But they do a good job. Like I said, I was impressed with how they do build the holiday special. Shows a little bit more of that, where the bergens settling into kind of a normal situation. In the animated series, they do a good job. But yeah, the second movie, the bergens don't, yeah, which is one of my pet peeves about the second movie. But I can see where the second movie, we're not really talking about that, but the antagonist in that is another troll. And so having the bergens in there would end it too quickly. Because the bergens literally could just stomp in and like smash all the, the trolls that are causing the problem. Yeah. But no, to your point, yeah, I think if you watch, they do a very good job of that. DreamWorks actually put a little thought into that whole situation. So
yeah, I would love to I would honestly love if you know these directors and they want to come on the show, I would love to pick their brain, because I think we're asking some really deep questions about a cartoon.
Yeah, no, that's true.
A cartoon which includes the line, "Little Slappy, make Daddy happy."
Okay, that moving and segueing into that, let's get into the more adult, the innuendo. The innuendo and the, that is smattered quite liberally throughout this movie.
Yeah.
And getting into that, I'm going to ask just about Chad and Todd. What do you think their relationship status is?
Oh, they're together.
Yeah. I have always just kind of thought that they were, they were a couple. They were and they kind of even in the holiday, if you watch the holiday, they kind of even explore a little bit more into that. Not deep by any means, but I think they...
I have no idea who that is.
There was
the two guards.
Oh, okay.
And then they were painting the one guard was painting the other one, and he had the little loincloth.
Yeah, when he had the loincloth underneath, I was like...
Oh, I didn't realize that was the guards.
Yeah, that's Chad and Todd.
Picked up on it. I picked up on it real quick.
And so, I guess we'll get John, since you had some notes about that, just what did you, the innuendos do? Is there one that you think just went too far?
No, I liked them all. Jason's the only one being prudish about the children.
Which is surprising.
Well, they have to give the adults something. I remember watching movies when I was a kid and not getting it, and then watching movies as I'm older and being like, oh, damn. Like, they said that.
So, the slappy make daddy happy was gross. The cloud, I just wrote, the cloud guy is a pervert in my notes. The one that I was like, oh, no, was, you must choose their hole wisely.
Yes.
And I was like, who in the LGBTQ community wrote this one? Because I think I laughed the hardest about it. I was like, whoa! And you all just looked at me. I was like, nobody's going to say anything. Choose the hole wisely. What? Yeah, I think I agree. There needs to be something in there for the adults. However, sometimes you go a little bit to I don't know. I can't believe I'm the prudish one. It's so weird. After all the stuff that I say all the time. But that one, I don't know. That one kind of was like, you could have said, hey, you have to choose your path wisely, but you chose the word whole. I'm just saying. I don't know. I thought as I flip my hair back and forth. I don't know. That one was a little ick, I think. And the slappy make daddy happy was uncomfortable. Like, I was like, those million moms out there probably lost their shit over that one.
I don't really think, I get probably something to look up, but I don't really think there was a lot of I don't think a lot of people just saw this movie as that kind of thing. Like, they didn't.
I guess I just have a dirty mind.
No. I mean, I think it's in their purpose. I mean, it's obviously purposefully put in there. I just don't think it got a lot of traction. People just didn't see it as a subversive movie. They just saw it as the trolls. But yeah, I don't think it really had a lot of controversy with it. And honestly, a lot of those people, they don't pick up on innuendo either. So
I don't know. I would have laughed out loud in the theater.
Oh yeah, like I said, when I'm watching it, there's a ton of. I mean, even in the Christmas special, the animated, they do tone it down quite a bit just because it is more for kids. But yeah, the animated and in the second one, I remember there's quite a bit of innuendo in that too. Some of that. Pamela, what is a line you either like and thought was really funny or thought was that's a little...
I don't really remember anything. I mean, I like that stuff being in there because it gives adults something to look forward to, keep you on your toes watching the movie. Because I think when this movie first came out, I was like, oh God, really? They're making a movie about trolls? And I kind of dismissed it. And then I remember you liking it so much. I'm like, okay, so we have to watch this. And we watched it on like Netflix or something. I'm like, oh, this is hilarious. It makes you feel good. It's a nice movie. So yeah, I like a lot of innuendo.
The scenes that really follow through, I mean, obviously Cloud Guy, but the date between, Bridget and Gristle, there's a lot, like, when he's talking about, like, ooh, I can figure out something else we could do to work up an appetite, and then they go roller skating.
Yeah, I think that's the most obvious one of the whole movie.
It
Like,
is,
that's the one, the people that wouldn't notice it.
And then when he calls her hot lunch, I'm like,
Yeah. That was
That, I mean, every time I see that, I'm like, all I can think of is one act. That's all I can think of every time. The first time
we're not discussing that on
no,
the show.
No, I don't want to get.
Don't Google it either.
Yeah, no. But yeah, every time he says that, he just like hot lunch. I'm like, oh my god. I mean, as a kid, they're just gonna think like, oh, that's funny, just a saying, just oh, he's all there. But that whole little interaction with them is just so full of innuendo that it just. And like I said, I agree. I think it's funny and it's good, with the adults. And I mean, a lot of animated movies, Disney, everybody kind of throws it. DreamWorks does a little more with like the Shrek. There's a lot.
Oh
of
yeah,
inside
there's
jokes.
a ton of Shrek.
And a lot of
Well,
so.
And I did ask you all during the movie. I was like, "What is this rated?"
Yeah.
And I think you said PG.
PG.
Yeah.
PG.
Which is fine because it's rated PG, so that gives you an idea of like
Yes.
to expect it. I just didn't realize what it was rated, so I went in with the mentality of this is a G movie and thinking, "Oh my god, they got this passed on a G movie? What are we in the 80s again?"
Well, all right. So now going through, Branch is the troll that I outside of the Bergens. I think I identify with the Bergens even more than Branch. But outside of that, is there a troll spoke to you just as an individual, like not even like reflection of yourself, but just as that you enjoyed, that you really like the character itself?
There's a troll that has one line, and her name is Harper, and she's like this little artist troll, and I just love her because she's got like all the splashes of color all over her and everything. But yeah, I love me some Branch because I identify as Branch.
I mean, I like Guy Diamond more for the second movie than the first
Oh,
one.
well, yeah.
So that's kind of cheating, but
Oh, does he have a bigger part?
a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
He's a tinier.
Yeah, he has a tinier diamond.
He has a baby.
He has a
Oh,
baby.
yes.
Baby.
He gives birth to a
Tiny
hip-hop troll.
Diamond is my name.
Obviously, I have not seen this.
No, you need to see the second one as well.
It made me laugh every single time when the little tiny diamond troll would pop out.
So,
Guy Diamond's probably my favorite.
Who plays Guy Diamond?
From the
That's
Trolls
Cooper
universe.
Polly from
Oh, that's
The
right.
Big Bang.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's the giraffe's name? Cooper?
Cooper.
So as I identify more with the sarcasm of Branch, I also deal with, I'm a pretty ridiculous person because y'all know I usually just say whatever comes to my mind and I don't think about it half the time. And some of you are like, Jason. So I think Cooper is a funny character. I didn't understand what it was at first. I think just his personality of like, I had a sarcasm once. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It's probably something I would have said at some point to make fun of somebody
my
else.
uncle died tap dancing.
Yeah, that was my favorite part. My uncle died tap dancing, and I was like, what? So I would like Cooper, but I will say this: if I had to identify with any character as a whole, I identify with Bridget.
No?
I think there's a little Bridget inside of all of us. Bridget has an amazing number. She sings "Hello," and I was like living for Bridget because I too know the crushing devastation of unrequited love, Bridget.
Oh,
I love Bridget. She's really my favorite in the whole movie.
Yeah, I
love
mean,
her.
like, she went from 100% character growth. Like, you watched her progress.
Oh, yeah.
I think almost more than Poppy and then Branch, right? Like, we saw Bridget grow the most. First off, she's like, he'd never love me. I'm ugly. Look at me. I'm just a scullery maid. Like, why would somebody want me? And then all they did was give her hair and a
new
jumpsuit.
outfit.
And
Yeah, but they gave her some
and a
confidence.
jumpsuit.
But they gave her confidence, right? And then we watched her blossom. And then we watched her regress because she's like, no, I can't do it without you.
Yeah.
And then she learns that she can. And she's the one that actually saved the trolls the whole time. Even though they tried to save themselves, it was Bridget. So I just really see a lot of Bridget. And I was like, I'm really glad that from a chubby kid perspective, we saw somebody who doesn't have this amazing body. Bridget was just like, none of them do.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
but still.
But
yeah.
you know what? Like, she looked a little dumpy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that they just did makeup and like they gave her confidence. But what happened at the end when she took off the troll wig, which was amazing, he didn't fall in love with her outer beauty. He fell in love with who she was.
Yeah.
Because that's who she was. So I don't know.
No, that's a good.
I liked watching the growth of Bridget.
I think it's interesting too. Like, what do you think is the chef? I think the chef is interesting just in the fact that she doesn't. She's like, I'm gonna get revenge on them by making you really happy and feeding you trolls. What? It was her like motivation was interesting. Like, she wanted to be back at the top, obviously. Trying to usurp and kind of control the whole situation. But the simple fact of that it wasn't revenge and like, I don't know. It was kind of an odd. I guess it was just more of the power play. Like, she wanted to be back in charge, and that was more important to her. So, like, no matter what they had done to her, she wasn't really lashing back out as a revenge. She just wanted to be in control of everything again and have them love her. Wanted the adulation that she used to have and that she didn't have any longer.
I mean, she says at one point that she's when I'm your queen or whatever.
Yeah, you'll have
toward the
control
end,
every day.
so-
Yeah, and it does make sense. She just because when she said when I'm the queen, I was like, oh, are you gonna try to like? I don't know what the age difference is, and I'm not one to judge on ages, but like you were there when he was a baby.
Yeah, it's been 20 years, so
Yeah, she's got to be.
she
I mean,
looks like she's been cooking a while. So
I was like, is she gonna seduce him? But I guess they decided not to go that route.
Well, no, yeah.
And they went the route of I think it's what a lot of sometimes in movies and in TV shows, villains, like they all fall into that. There's that damn trope where they're like, worship me because I'm going to give you this. Right. And so I'm trying to think of another example and I honestly can't. Saying like, look what I can do for you, but you got to be with me. Right. Like I can give you this, but you got to be with me. And I think I was kind of disappointed in that trope. I also don't know what else she would have done.
Well,
like,
yeah.
It's like, I don't know what she would have done. But I think it's a classic villain trope. I can provide you with everything you need. You have to come with me. I've got you. Look what I can do for you.
Yeah.
And then she gets that weird self-sense of importance that she's created for herself.
They did kind of muddy it up. Like, what was she going to do? Was she just to take Gristle out? Was she just going to give everybody trolls and control him behind the scenes? Like,
are these the only trolls they know about? Because I know you said in the sequel we find out about all kinds of
that's
different
another
trolls.
thing with the Bergens and how they describe their land. Yeah, these are the only trolls they know about.
So if you eat all the trolls, which is what the plan was, there would be no more trolls. I kept thinking that. I was like, well, aren't you going to cage a couple up to procreate?
That's
Because if you eat all the trolls right now, including the baby trolls, you got no trolls.
Yeah, that it
Just
was.
gonna overdose. Be done with it.
you gotta keep some of them free range too, or PETT will be on you.
Did you say PETT?
Yeah,
Is
people for the ethical treatment of trolls.
Is it?
Oh wow.
I'm so pissed I set you up for that joke without even knowing I was doing it. I have to say this. Can we just give a round of applause to Christine Baranski because she did an amazing job as that chef villain.
Oh, she did.
Plus, I am a huge Christine Baranski fan. I hope she's listening. I would love to meet you. I just want to hug you.
Yes,
but
yeah,
no, I
she does a
think
good
she had the ability to go over the top, and I don't think she went as far as she could.
Yeah.
Because you know how some villains are super overacting
Yes,
to the point where you're just like, you're annoying.
they're chewing on the scenery.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like I think she balanced it. I think she did a pretty good job. So
Yeah, I don't think anyone like acting wise was out to oh except
That's
for
where that actually is a good segue. Jason is starting to raise his hand. Which troll or which
I love
character did you least like out of all? It doesn't have to be a troll. It could be a Bergen. It could be a thing in the background. It's just what character or what creature that you just kind of were like, ugh.
I'm gonna say if any of them were annoying or got on my nerves, it would be Biggie.
Is that James?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's James Corden who does that voice. But see, I like Mr. Dinkles.
Yes.
Well, yeah, Miss
I love
Dinkles
Mr.
is cool. It looks like a penis. How could you not like it?
To me, he looks like one of those sour bright
Gummy worms.
trolley
Worms,
worms.
Nah,
But,
I'm looking
you
at it a
know-
whole different way. Especially when you can tell the relationship between the two of them. All right, you ready for my rant?
Sure.
ahead.
Here's my rant.
Okay.
Anytime James Corden has to do anything that relates to a slightly potentially gay character or even blatantly gay character, the only thing he ever does is the same stereotypical trope of being extremely effeminate, extremely over the top, which is great because that does represent some people, but you're doing it for a joke. And he did it in this, he did it in Prom, he's done it in a couple other things, and I just don't think he should be allowed anymore to play a gay character. There's a lot of people in the LGBTQ community that don't appreciate his brand of representation. And as soon as I heard his voice, as soon as I heard it and I saw it, I got what there's clearly a relationship between him and Mr. Dinkle.
Mr. Dinkles.
The penis thing, right? There's clearly a relationship. It's a penis! There's a clear relationship between the two of them, right? And I was like, oh my God. And then when he was like, do her hair, like he was just, and I get that those were the lines that he was given. And I'm sure they probably directed him in a way, but I think as an actor, you also have your interpretation of the character, and I think that's part of the job as an actor and a director is to figure out the interpretation between that character and come together. And it's like every time I see him play gay, he goes so far to that point. So that's why I don't like him, and it's a penis.
I mean, his name is Mr. Dingles.
And he does have a little hat.
And he dresses him up in the different outfits, and
Where's the rest of Mr. Dingles, though?
I
don't think he cares about it.
That kind of brings it around too, like the style of the creatures in this world. I kind of like just because it's all very like I don't know felt. They all
looks
look
like felt.
Yeah, and they're made out of cloth and they're made out of felt and they're all. But I like it too, even though they look that way. They're all extremely murderous and dangerous.
That's what I wrote in my notes. I was like, where the hell do they live?
Yeah.
Where everything eats everything. Like, what is the actual dominant animal, person, mammal, whatever it is? What is the dominant thing in this ecosystem? Because everything eats everything, and then you get pooped out as an egg.
They do quite a few of her going through intestines and going through, but I think that's an interesting art style, because it almost goes along with her scrapbooking, that felt, but the world is just made of that. And I also kind of like that they'll also just join in singing. I think that's a good when she does the Hello Darkness bit. I love that because all the like creatures come around and I think that I like that art direction because there are the toys and it almost gives them that world of where like I said everything is just this very soft and pliable and plushy thing, but they're horribly they like murder each other. And I think that plays in the whole kind of thing, I guess, too. Do you guys see that as like the hierarchy, like you talk about, like the food chain? Like are the Bergens on top? What other things do they consume? Because they show them cooking, but they don't ever show them what type of animals they consume. And the trolls obviously live their life in a fairly peaceful setting, where things aren't eating them. So is it just kind of like this jungle that's around them?
When you're in a world where you can literally poop cupcakes you can eat, it's hard to really figure out the pecking order in any sort of realistic way.
True.
Because, I mean, the Bergens seem to be the only ones that are capable of building advanced structures other than Branch. Everybody else
his
just kind
bunker,
of lives in flowers. And so...
Well, I would say that the Bergens are not at the top because at the bonus scene at the end, we watch a Bergen get eaten by a damn hill.
Well, that's true.
In
a very Sarlacc pit kind of way.
I mean, but again, then I'm like, well, what if the hills eat everything? Then where are we with the food chain? And maybe I shouldn't even be thinking about that, but I was like, oh, the damn hill ate her. She's big as a damn house. So
I mean, I guess that's with John's kind of going along. I guess it's just one of those
cartoon logic.
Yeah, it's cartoon logic.
Yeah.
All right. Kind of getting back now to just the lightness of it. Anybody not thinking as an adult, not thinking as that. What would have you really just thought was hilarious as a kid?
I would have loved this movie just for the color as a kid because I was all about the colors and the rainbow, and like Rainbow Bright was my favorite. Anything with colors just sucked me in as a kid, so I would have absolutely loved that. And the glitter and just the songs. I would have been all about this movie as a kid.
Yeah, for me, it's probably the visuals where they do like where the trolls are running through the tunnels, or where they show like the side
cutaway
of the cutaway view of Branch's place, or any of that, because I loved books like that when I was a kid, like the Richard Scarry.
Oh yeah,
books,
I love the Richard Scarry.
And there was I used to have this Berenstain, which universe are we in? I had a Berenstain book that was like Berenstain Bears in the Haunted Tree or something.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
And the tree had like that cutout section.
Yeah.
You could see them escaping through it. I would just stay on that page for like 2 hours.
I agree with that. I was big on those, like Richard Scarry and stuff. Yeah, and I love looking at all the stuff.
Yeah,
the pages
find
were
little,
so full
little
of
like
stuff.
hidden rooms and stuff like that. That part really, even as an adult, appealed to me about this.
For me, as a kid, I would have loved this movie as a kid too, and I think it was the singing and the dancing. I love when a movie can create its own songs if they're good. I did not like the original songs in this, but Lil Gayson, would have loved the fact that they sang songs from that era. I knew those songs as a kid.
Yeah.
And so for me to be able to sing along with a movie, because I already knew what they were singing, maybe not what they were singing about, but for me, it would have been like as soon as Bridget started, I was like, she's going to sing Hello. So, and I went Hello on there. So I would have, that's for me, hands down, it's the music.
Plus, this taught children that magical healing power of Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah, that is. I want someone to sing that song to me when I'm feeling so horrible. That part with Branch and saying, it is. It's
it was beautifully done. It was just like a beautiful rendition. Of it.
Justin Timberlake did a really good job.
Yeah, and I like how they worked the "I love you" into it. Like it actually meant something to the plot.
To the characters. Yeah. I think for me as a kid, I would have just liked the Bergens because I was just a weird kid that way. They speak to me just in that, like I said again, because of that era. But yeah, I think as a kid, I would have just really loved the Bergens.
Then like they were funny, maybe unintentionally on their part, but like it's got that kind of little kid humor. People dumping poop on each other's heads.
No,
and,
that's
the
You
babies.
mean cupcakes?
No, this was Bergens.
The Bergens.
Yeah, when she dumps that.
It was green glowy shit.
Yeah, it was feed.
It was feelings.
It was
feelings.
Food.
Yeah. No, I think that.
Their feelings.
But yeah, they do kind of offer that.
Oh, maybe.
And I think that song that they chose for that, the Gorillaz
song,
was just perfect. And the
Perfect.
way it delivers it just really that was just the perfect segue for the Bergens. That would have been my favorite part.
I do have a bone to pick. That version of Clint Eastwood is not on the soundtrack.
No, it's
really?
not.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
That's interesting.
But all the other songs are, though. I mean, they got a lot
I think there was one of the other ones, too, that during the movie I was like, I don't remember this, because we were listening to the soundtrack.
We listened to the soundtrack like 3 times in a row today.
Yeah, while we were
the movie.
Yeah.
Then I guess that's a good bringing in the soundtrack too. I love Get Back Up Again. Being me, being cynical, being just like I can listen to that song and I love it. And the visuals with it help it too, because she keeps these obstacles that keep coming in her way, and she does keep moving through them. But yeah, I do like that as an original song. I think that's a good song.
Anybody have a favorite song in the whole thing? Sorry, I'm taking over.
No.
I just because the whole "Hello Darkness, My Old Friend" thing.
Oh, I love that.
Legitly, I kind of want to go. I'm gonna go find that clip on YouTube and watch it again because I was like, "This is brilliant."
Yeah. No, it is. It is a good.
Brilliant.
That song, like I said, I like the version of Clint Eastwood. I do like that. But yeah, the Hello Darkness. I just love the little spider that comes. He says hello. The way that spider just comes drowned, and I think with you, like you said, with Hello and everything. Yeah, they took those songs that people knew, and they did a great job with incorporating them into this type of movie. Because they weren't really kid songs. They're not just straight Disney fare.
I would say I liked the Hair Up, I think is what it was
Oh,
called.
Hair Up's a great song too, yeah.
Incorporates the whole Hall of the Mountain King kind of.
No, that yeah, it's really hard.
Oh, is that what that's called?
Yeah.
I don't know what that was called.
And just the way they I love they kind of do the Shining thing when he starts out that song. He's like riding his little thing through and you kind of that rug and everything gives you kind of a Shining vibe.
I did say that the king as a baby made me not want to have kids. That was in my notes.
When he jumps on him and rips out his
chest
hair.
Yeah, when he ripped out his chest hair, I was like,
Ooh.
oh, we would have fought. That's why I'm not a dad.
All right. Well,
I would like bibs to be in fashion, though.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be kind of fun.
That part was kind of cool. With the wing dingle.
With the wing dingle on
years ago, I used to do a 12 Days of Christmas countdown on Facebook, and I would link silly, funny gifs, and they had lapkins. And it was napkins that were like bibs, but they were super inappropriate. Like they were just like one was like bare legs and a hoo-hoo. So I was like, you could bring bibs back. You could bring them back like lapkins.
Okay.
We've already copyrighted this idea.
There you go. Don't steal it.
Don't you try.
Don't steal it. So I guess unless anybody wants to talk about it, we can get to the rating of the movie.
Oh, very excited to hear how this
Actually,
is going to go.
I do have one more tiny thing.
No,
Can we
go
talk
right
about
ahead.
how ridiculous their hair powers were?
Oh, their hair powers are the best, man. When she
I mean,
uses them to make stairs and
I
she
know.
walks down them. Oh, come on. And they can change color, like
I'm
when
like,
they're doing
how
the
did they
waves.
not rule the ecosystem with that much power?
The chameleon ability.
We've all seen Pirates of the Caribbean, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I could see one of them straight up doing the Davy Jones thing with their hair, like
Have
going
a
right up in
beard,
the
yeah.
nostrils and take care of somebody.
Well, that's a good question though. I mean, the king had his beard. You know, would he be able to? I don't know if I've ever seen them use that. You know, for like other hair. It's just the hair on their head. You know.
Sorry, I just went a whole new world when you said other hair, and I was like, oh god.
Yeah.
Like armpit hair. They just like
That's
poof.
not where I was
I'm not
going.
gonna lie. I was trying to remember if they wore pants in this movie, and I can't remember.
Some
yeah,
did.
yeah,
Some-
they
some
do.
did.
Some do.
Remember,
Some
because the
don't.
king deserved better underpants.
Yeah, because the
Yeah.
king had pants on, and Branch has pants on.
The
Like
king
Biggie.
did deserve better underpants.
The glitter trolls. None of the glitter trolls have clothes. All the glitter
Now,
trolls.
the one
Because
time,
the power is in their butt.
Yes.
the one time when Guy Diamond really farted on that dog
I
alligator,
hate that word.
was his ass shinier
Yes.
because the glitter
glitter
was gone?
yes.
Gone,
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't. I don't think he actually farted. Well, the little contention here. I don't think he actually passed
Did
gas.
you just say toot?
I don't think. I think it was just the glitter off his ass. I
Okay.
literally think when you spray, because after he's back on the skate, his ass is like shiny,
Like
like
chrome.
that chrome
I thought
shiny.
it was because they were dragging his ass across the ground.
Well, yeah,
and then
that's
it,
what. Yeah, because
like, got the glitter off.
yeah, because he has the skate. He like comes down and lowers his butt onto the skate.
Jason, I think we'll go with flatulated for you moving forward.
The great flatulence.
I'm just like, it sounds like an adventure at a gay bar. Well, they drug his ass on the ground, and that's why he doesn't have any glitter on his ass anymore.
That's
why
kind
it's
of
so
what
I was
happens.
like, God, it's like we're talking about me in my 20s.
That-
I'm
that's-
so confused.
That's kind of what happens. They de-glitter his butt, man, because like I said, it is shiny like chrome. And they don't really call attention to it, but yeah, no, the glitter, yeah, none of the glitter trolls have clothes. The glitter trolls are all pretty much naked functionally.
Okay.
And that kind of gets into the thing of reproduction of trolls, though, because in the beginning it made it seem like they grew on the tree, because when she pulls out, the fake poppy, she pulls the pod, and then all of a sudden, so is that how trolls reproduce? Because you see pods, if you look, when they in their village, they have those similar looking little pods hanging all over the village.
Look, you're our troll expert. If
Well,
anyone's going to know, it's going
Yeah,
to be
I
you.
guess not.
That's true. You've done the most research into
They
the
don't
available
think-
Right.
material.
All
I
we
don't-
contributed today was that there were troll action figures.
There
that
was.
did have a cartoon, by
Yes,
the way. I looked it up.
they did. Yeah, and they had a video game too. I
Yeah,
saw
they had a Super Nintendo video game.
Yep. So no, that's a good question. I haven't watched the whole animated series to see if they cover that troll reproduction, but
I guess that they don't.
they probably don't. That at the beginning of the movie, you see her pull the pod down with Pop. She thinks it's Poppy. So
I also thought that was a really neat nod to the original toy line.
it was, yeah,
That's a
because
really
Yeah.
nice
the
little
fake,
nod to the
all the
original.
fake trolls will
Yeah.
look like the trolls.
That's
Yeah,
really
and they're
nice.
carved out of wood. But yeah, and again, when you get into the Trolls 2, when they expand the troll world and how different trolls look, that's a good question with the hair though, because there's underwater trolls in the second one that you don't see, and they don't have hair. All they have like the antenna and stuff. So how did they, did they not have those powers? And did like the horse, the centaur ones, the country ones? I don't know if they really ever showed. I think they use their tails.
I
like-
wish you could all see Jason's face right now because he's just it's like he's in Willy Wonka's tunnel on that
I'm
boat.
just like, what the hell?
There's no earthly way of
Knowing
knowing
which direction
we are going.
Okay. So yeah, those are all good questions. So again, now if anybody else has anything they would like to add or entertain, we can get to the rating system. It's up to you guys.
I'm very excited to see how we're going to rate this.
See, now there is a couple ways, and now that I know Jason is not a fan of the glitter farts,
I just don't like that word.
I was going to go with a scale of 1 to 5 Mr. Dinkles, but now I think we might have to do on a scale of 1 to 5 glitter farts.
How
Which-
about glitter farting, Mr. Dinkles?
Dinkles. Yeah, but I don't think he has that ability.
He did not toot.
Yeah, he didn't really have.
He has one job,
What
and we
about
all
a
know
troll
what it
that's
is.
tooting Mr. Dinkles?
Oh.
Oh,
That gets that.
Oh.
Hmm.
let's do it, Chris. Thanks. Look at me. I'm like, take it back, President. Take it back.
Take it back.
It's getting off the rails.
Okay, so in deference to Jason's not liking the word,
You can say it. I will just cover my own. It's fine.
No, we will just we'll do on a scale of 1 to 5, Mr. Dinkles. What would you all rate?
I'd give it a good 4, Mr. Dinkles. 4.5, but that might be cruel.
Some people.
Stop.
4 if it's cold.
Maybe 2. I would give it 5, Mr. Dinkles. However, James Corden brings it down to a 4 1/4. I almost wanted to say a 3, but I don't think that's fair to the whole movie. But I definitely think that that's the one negative thing I have about this movie. I appreciate representation, but there's a right way to do it.
I agree.
So
100% agree with you.
See, this is my question. Is it how much I like the movie, or is it how does it compare to other movies? Because clearly, like Citizen Kane or something, I would be like, that's a 5.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah,
I mean,
So are we just rating that we like it?
Yeah,
this
I think it's
much?
on your scale of how much.
Well,
you
then
like
it's a
it.
5 because I could watch this movie a million times.
That's
I'd
a
never
good
get
option.
bored
Yeah,
of
I
it.
would put this on when I'm cleaning.
There's nothing.
For sure.
It's like even for me, James Corden's part is so small. I don't really give a shit because as soon as he talks, Mr. Dinkles does, and I'm like, I love you, tiny penis man.
I also love a tiny penis man.
Tiny multicolored dildo man. I love you. So
I would go that it's a dildo, but not a penis in my head.
Well, yeah, but it's a living
I mean,
thing. Like, you know, it's
we're gonna go real off the rails here.
We
real
are.
quick.
We're going right at the
I mean,
end here.
That's a
We're bringing it-
bendable thing, and that is if he was a straight, as the apparently sex toy expert I am now, a
Okay.
dildo is pretty firm. I don't think it has the
welcome
wobbability.
to the Missing Movie Club After Dark. Call us now with your questions.
Oh wow, I feel like I just walked right off that cliff.
You know what we did? We just walked right into that E rating that we got to make sure we put on it again.
Even for a kids movie.
Explicit.
Yes.
It's just burned in there permanently.
It is.
It's okay.
But I'd have
what
to
I did
agree
on
with,
mine.
I would agree with John. I would give it a 5 because it is one of those movies that I can just kind of watch, and those type of movies are rare for me because like movies, I like movies, and so I'll scroll through Netflix and stuff for hours just trying to find a movie that fits my mood. But when this one comes across, it's just I can just watch it. There's very few movies. I let you know the other movie that's that way is The Jerk with Steve Martin back, and I can watch that movie no matter what.
Which I still haven't seen.
Oh, we got to put that on the list. Oh, The Jerk
You
is
say
amazing.
you haven't seen it, but you told me you don't like it at one point.
Well, it's definitely not in her wheelhouse because
That's very true.
She doesn't like that slapstick, that type
Yeah,
of humor.
yeah.
So I can see where she wouldn't enjoy it. But if it comes up sometime, that actually just goes back to my mother. My mother loved The Jerk, and just a little side note: back in the day, VHS were so expensive you could only rent them, and she rented the movie The Jerk so much that the 7-Eleven, which you rented them from 7-Eleven,
Wow.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, 7-Eleven, and they let her buy it, and it only cost her $50.
Oh Jesus!
Jeez.
Oh, well, that when I worked at Saturday Matinee, we still had VHS. We had a giant book, and there were still VHS, like Vibes with Cyndi Lauper and Jeff Goldblum. It was an $87 movie, even then.
Wow.
And so basically the premise was they would release them on VHS, and they rented them until they reached a certain point in their money-making ability. And then once it reached that point, they put them out for mass market. But this movie was $87, and we'd make people put down down payments on this movie because they'd order it, and if they came in and they didn't buy it, we were out. We couldn't sell it for $87. So yeah, VHS were very expensive to produce. So anyway, that's my little side note.
This moment in film history brought to you by the Missing Movie Club.
Anyway. Okay, so as I see, Jason has pulled out our Wheel of Moviedom here. So it
Oh,
is
I like that name.
It-
Wheel of Movie Dumb.
Wheel of Moviedom. It controls our fate and what our next
I'm gonna write that down.
movie is going to be that we will be watching and discussing with the clubs.
All right,
so
ready? This is our special. We're doing a Christmas because it's December.
yes, our pod it will
So-
be in December.
Yeah, everybody listed some Christmas movies that some of us haven't seen. So Christmas is John and I's favorite time of the year.
It is.
We've bonded over that multiple times. All right, ready? It's a real wheel.
All right.
And I gotta turn it to look at me because I'm behind it because I wanted it up to the mic. And it's my movie.
Oh, yeah!
Oh,
finally. I am out of the hot seat.
That means you're Mr. President.
You're going
Give me the gavel now.
Nobody else is gonna get to touch that thing.
God, I'm gonna hold it in my lap.
Just like Mr. Dinkles.
so
We are going to watch one of my favorite holiday films that is not really well known. And it is the 1951, I say classic, The Lemon Drop Kid, starring Bob Hope.
see, I have literally never heard of this movie.
I
Never.
found it by accident once at the library.
Oh, there you go.
So,
Woo!
By the,
Yeah.
by,
Yeah,
by
we
the
love
way,
libraries here.
Yeah, you can rent lots of movies and
Yeah,
there's lots
yeah.
going on at the library.
you should check out your local library. We are all fans of our library.
We
so.
are very much so.
There's an app that you can get to watch movies at your library
Yep.
called Canopy.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yeah. You can get it
Yeah.
on Roku. I know we've got it
Yeah.
on our Roku, so streaming device.
So if you would like to watch it, I think it is available to rent on Amazon for like a couple of bucks on Prime, but I don't necessarily think it's streaming anywhere else. Yeah, I'm really excited to show you all this movie. It has a lot of things that I love in it, and it's set at Christmas. And I'm gonna do a little spoiler. You ready?
Sure.
It is the first time the song "Silver Bells" was ever sung on film.
Hmm.
I'm excited, and I get to be president.
You get to be the
should be.
you get to be the big man in charge.
Yeah.
The
And
head
it's just-
cheese.
It's kind of different because this time one of us has seen it and the other three have not.
Yeah,
true.
I can't
Instead
wait.
of three of us seeing it and one of us have not.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
That
'cause-
is.
Yeah,
Although
it's
I
kind of
will
nice.
say, I think I've seen it, but it's been a very
I'm
long
sure. Yeah,
time.
yeah,
I think I've seen like
Like a clip.
scenes. Is there something with a coat in it?
potentially.
I think. Okay.
Yes.
alert.
Yeah.
I will say it is. It's a black and white film, and I love it. I love the way that they're speaking in it, and I think I'm interested to see what y'all think. If you hate it, it's okay, but I'll still
I
love it
don't
forever.
think I could hate anything with Bob Hope in it.
He's at the top of his game. I love it. I think
I
he's.
love his
It's
nose.
really, really good.
I'm excited for a movie I've never seen.
Yeah.
so.
I don't want to give any more away. I think
No,
it's
that's good.
it's
Leave it.
a Christmas movie,
Set
so
it at that.
get ready to do your homework, kids. It's
All
time.
right.
Are y'all ready for Christmas?
I am so excited for Christmas. Now, do I assign out roles now? Is that what
No,
I'm supposed to do?
he chose however the other three are done. You
Okay.
get to pick that next one.
I'm confused. When do I tell you what you're doing?
No, he's gonna have a little game that picks the
Oh,
others.
for us next
And
time.
then you'll
Yes.
have your
Next
chance.
time.
I'm so
you're in charge.
confuddled.
So
'cause
you'll
I'm
pick
so
you'll pick the
excited.
next cabinet for January.
Great.
Let me tell you,
Okay.
folks, the best part about starting a podcast is coming up with really elaborate rules that no one else reads. It's amazing.
Hey, we've got it up on the screen.
I got the damn gavel right now.
Once hopefully at some point in time we'll actually have fans that maybe read these and actually understand them.
Right.
And,
So they can
Call
tell
us
us.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Call
gonna
us
be like, in episode 4, Jason did not bang the gavel to take control
that was not in the bylaws, sir. That was not in the bylaws.
Are we to believe that in episode 3, John said later on he has changed his mind? Is that allowed?
So picking our roles for the next go around, I think I'm going to do a little bit of Thunderdome here. What type of Bergen would each of you be? And since Jason has an assigned role, I'm actually going to let him be the judge. So us three will have to describe our Bergen to him, and he will then decide the order.
I feel the power inside.
So when he picks 1, 2, and 3 out of our thing, we go in order. So the one, obviously, whoever wins will be vice president. The next would be secretary, and then treasurer. However it goes.
I bet you $1 I end up as treasurer. I'm whichever Bergen Jason likes least.
No, you got to give it. You guys, it's a little bit of role play here, a
Ooh,
little bit of
I
creating.
love
a
this on the
character.
spot. This is good.
So
Yeah.
yes, so that's. I mean, I can go first if
Yeah,
other
well, it's
people.
already like, well, shit.
If you guys
No,
have,
I
you
got
know.
an idea.
Okay.
Okay, well then,
Yeah.
Pamela, I will defer
Of-
to you if you
Of
got.
my Bergen. My Bergen's gonna be like the pear shaped. And she's gonna have big old bell bottoms, the kind that are cut up with the like a pattern underneath.
Oh, okay.
But then she's gonna have like the tiny little strap with the tie for the thing, but she ain't got no reason to have it, but it's there, and that's the kind of Bergen she's gonna be.
She's flat like a dingles.
Wing dingle.
I gave you my words out.
Yeah, so then I think she'd have a feather in her hair too,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
to top it off.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Are these pre or post happiness?
Either one doesn't matter.
Bergens.
However you want to play it, it's your character.
I think I'm just gonna be that Bergen that was laying in the grave, slowly covering himself. You know,
My
that's-
Bergen would see that guy and go, "That's a good idea."
yeah. I mean, I might be like eating some chips or something.
Every spoonful of dirt, you get a Dorito.
Yeah.
Trying to keep it away from the bird that's on the tube.
Instant reward.
All right. My Bergen would actually, he'd be wearing those those shorts they had in like the 80s, think of Gregory Hines from the Muppet movie.
I definitely can think of Gregory Hines in that movie.
Those white, those really tight, low, like high shorts, don't really quite fit. The gut kind of hangs over it a little bit.
They were called nut huggers.
And with the, the pull up socks, the colored banded socks.
All I'm looking like right now is Gregory Hines, and I'm dying.
Yeah, pulled all the way up, and a pair of, just the cheap generic Nikes, the white, they're all dirty. He's going to be wearing a Captain Scarfunkel's, arcade shirt. Again, doesn't quite fit. It's like kind of like a crop top because he's been wearing it for so long.
Chris is really gunning for first.
And he's going
to stupid sexy Bergen.
Yeah. He's got the Walkman with the headphones on, always walking around, the one tape of, Weird Al, the Weird Al Bergen, and he's got
the Weird Al Bergen.
The Weird Al
really,
Bergen.
really weird for the record.
Yeah. And, the glasses with like the big tape bundle in the middle because he's broke so many times. Yeah, that would be my Bergen.
I've been inspired. Can I add one thing?
Sure.
Yeah.
He needs a slap bracelet.
You do need a slap bracelet. That's a lot to take in.
And the Casio watch, the plastic watch,
Oh, the calculator?
Yeah, calculator watch, yeah.
I'm fine being secretary. It's fine.
Wow.
So there we go. That we've all described what.
So I mean, you were in the lead, Pamela.
Thank you.
But
heavy weighs the crown, huh?
Yeah. But the crop top did it for me in the Gregory Hines comparison. So I would say Chris is vice president.
Woo.
And Pamela, you would be secretary.
Yay!
And then John, I'm sorry, you can bury yourself in the finances as our.
I am Jack's complete lack of surprise.
Okay,
Chris just sold it.
So we've got this movie selection down. We've got our president. We've got our cabinet set up. So I'm actually going to hand it over to the secretary.
All right, so I did have some old business going all the way back so long ago to our welcome episode. During that episode, we talked about animal movies. And as part of that, we talked about The Incredible Journey. After that, I kept thinking about it, and I was like, wait a minute. Wasn't that movie called Homeward Bound? And so it turns out, I actually looked it up, there's actually the original Incredible Journey came out in 1963, and in that one, the dogs and cat had a different name, but the story was pretty much the same. The lab was named Luath, the terrier was named Bodger, and the cat was named Tao in the original.
Interesting.
Wow.
And then in 1993, they remade it Homeward Bound with Chance, Shadow, and Sassy. And the only thing they really changed in the plot was they added the subplot with the kids dealing with the step-parent or whatever. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting, and I had the secretary power that I decided to use it.
There you go.
Nice.
So
That's what it's good for. With that, anybody want to just give our listeners one last, shout out of where they can listen to our podcast?
You can catch us on all kinds of things, right? We have tons of social media out there, and we have tons of ways for you to listen. So I'm going to list them all off because I love nothing more than self-promotion.
and your own voice.
Bitch. And
I swear, people,
So-
we actually do like each other.
we really do. If this is your first episode, and that's awesome, and we really appreciate it, you should go back and listen to the other two, because a listen is a listen, and you need to follow along, because you never know. We could refer to something in another episode, and you don't want to be lost. So please make sure that you go out and subscribe to get notifications every time we drop a new episode. Whether you listen to us on Apple Podcast or Spotify, or you go to Anchor. We're also on all kinds of fun podcast apps that you may not even be aware of, like CastBox or Google Podcasts, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and Stitcher, which I didn't know we were on Stitcher. Did you know we were on Stitcher?
Stitcher?
Is that what it is? Is it Stitcher? Nah, we call it a Stitcher from now on. We on the Stitcher app. So we're on Stitcher Podcast as well. You can also follow us along at our website, themissingmovieclub.com. And it's Missing Movie Club. Don't put the in there. It's just missingmovieclub.com. Make sure they'll go. If you are following us along on your podcast app, hit the subscribe button. I promise you, you'll get notified within about 15 minutes of the episode getting uploaded. If you're up late at night and we pop the episode out around 2 a.m., you'll see it by about 2:30, and you can just, enjoy a late night watching a movie, talking with all of us. But also don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. And if video is more of your thing, you can definitely check us out on YouTube. Hit the play button and listen to the fun that's there too.
And make sure on any of the platforms, but just drop us a review. Drop us, even if you really don't like us and you just want to call us names.
Or if you want to ask us out.
Or, yep, that's, there's
Just me.
just one single, yeah.
Everyone else is
we're
partnered
spoken
up.
for. But yeah, just
You can ask me out if you want to.
Oh! We've got a little bit of
All right.
All right.
Drama.
See what happens when you become treasurer? It's cursed.
Yeah, how's it feel?
I don't know. Am I going to be single now too?
Yeah. Oh. So yeah. So just whatever your feelings are about the situation, just let us know you're out there. Just let us know if you appreciate it, you like it, what you don't like, even if it's just some criticism of what you'd like to change. Just let us know, please. It helps us just to make the podcast better and hopefully grow.
There is a bonus that we're not talking about too. If you listen on Spotify, which is awesome, or you listen on Anchor, usually we put up a fun little poll after each episode. So if you want to get a little more interactive with us, you can definitely check that out too. And if you just want to do that, then download one of those 2 apps. Anchor is our home and we love them so much.
Again, we welcome you. I'm glad you came back, hopefully, and brought maybe some new members to the club. But we appreciate every single one of you. I think we're going to call this meeting of the Missing Movie Club adjourned.
I want pizza.
That does sound pretty good.
I know.
I
Garlic
just want
bread.
you to know, I just said they could ask me out because I like telling people no.
Oh, hey. Didn't I see you at the meeting earlier today? You were in the back row, right? So, did you come to check out the bulletin board? I'm trying to get things updated, get this old stuff off of here about the crow. Let's see. I need to put up this reminder to watch The Lemon Dropped Kid starring Bob Hope before next month. Put this flyer together with all our social media on it. We've got Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and, of course, our website, mysticmovieclub.com. Wait, what's this over here? Tiny post-it note that says, need to be told no, call me, Pamela. I'm just going to take that one. No, Chris put up one of those sheets with pull tabs. Looking for members for a Bergen fashion club he's starting. Hey, I'll check it out. You want one too? Okay, here you go. Anyway, I gotta get going, but see you next meeting, and thanks for coming again. Feel free to bring a friend. Bye.